Vote is on.
We'll open this meeting of May 12th, 2016. Let the record show that Selectman, give that back to him. Selectman Scanlon is not present but is on his way. All right. I'm gonna forego the minutes for a second because we have a resident and we always put them first, so let's come on up and talk to us. Well, I don't really need to be, but,
Just be loud enough so the mics pick you up,
yeah.
Oh, you didn't hear it on the...
because it's recorded.
Just so that we can hear it, that's all, what the
Oh, so
issue
you can hear me,
is.
that's fine. Frank Laro
Lero, on the corner of High and Prospect
and West.
and West.
Oh, okay.
Big blue van, can't miss it. My only question was about the corner of West and Prospect, where the water's washing down and it's just washing out that part of the road. And it's getting worse and worse, and I don't know if there's who to talk to that could just fix it up. So, I mean, it's washing out, and the road just gets skinnier and skinnier. That's my only...
Is it coming down onto your property where,
Both. I put the culverts up to try to stop, kind of guide it back out into the road, but it goes right over that. I mean, it just, on heavy rain, you can just see it flowing.
isn't between High Street and West Street, isn't there a drain halfway down by where your driveway is?
Where Roger Abbott's house is,
Oh, it's up further?
it's right at that turn, but no water goes in that. That part of the road is so contorted that it just misses that one. And then across the street, there is one by the prep school, where the little, I don't want to call it a driveway, but that little walkway area that comes down. Some of it goes there, but you watch it just kind of come right down.
Yep.
It goes right across. And I mean, I don't care that water goes through my yard, obviously, but it's washing that out, and I'd hate to, I don't know how far the fire hydrant goes down before it gets washed out.
Oh, it's really bad. Is this a new thing?
It's been getting worse and worse. I mean, when we first bought the house, my driveway was level. It was dirt, but it was level.
Yeah.
And then over a couple years, it just kind of started getting lower, and then I had to get it paved because it was so bad. And then we tried to, like I said, we put up little culverts to kind of push it, or not culverts, but berm.
Yeah.
To kind of push it back to the road.
Yeah.
And
That's getting in there.
they put a culvert just after where that washout is starting, just after it. And then it started to head towards another drain right down the street. But it's starting to wash out. It's getting to it, but it's washing that out. I'm just thinking a full culvert all the way might help. I would just, I
So
mean,
the
I know it's
Director of
not...
Public Works will be here this
Yeah.
evening.
Yeah.
He is coming, right?
Same thing, correct.
If so.
Yeah, supposed to be coming.
I know it's not like a cheap
No, it's not in there.
$50
I
fix
handed
either.
it out while you...
Yeah, but
We'll send you the bill, don't worry.
That's fine, that's fine.
you're already paying the bill. All of us are, all of us
I
are.
put like erosion stone in it. When I put some erosion stone around my yard, I had some left over, so I just kind of stuck it down there to help. And at the time, Dennis said, just don't be surprised if it gets taken out by the plow. I said, that's fine.
We're swapping.
I mean, I'm not gonna give up. I know the gentleman that drives that area, he doesn't have a lot of room to make that turn.
Arthur, he's
Arthur.
very good
Yeah.
with that truck.
And he does not have a lot of room coming
Yep.
down Prospect and getting on to West.
I do know that Johnny is aware of the top part of High
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Prospect where it dips down in
Yeah,
that thing. And that's why I was looking at this. Prospect looks like there's work going to be done in 2017
Yeah.
is when it's going to be done, but I don't see West Street even on here, do you?
So this is the
Anybody?
corner of West Street and
I
Prospect.
think it's on our
The
top.
upper corner?
10-year.
Yeah, the upper,
They
I
all
don't
yeah.
recall. I
Yeah.
don't recall. They should be, yeah.
You say upper
Yeah,
corner, I'm
right.
thinking the upper part of my house. So, property tax, I don't see it. Oh, that's my house. Okay, yeah, it's this corner right there, yeah,
Okay.
right there. I mean, you can see right here, you can see where they had a culvert. Can I,
Yeah,
mind?
go ahead.
Okay. Oh, now I did it. You can kind of see where they put it in there, because it was washing out at one point.
Right,
They put it in, and there's another drain somewhere in there. the water gets to it, but, I mean, right in there, just washing out. And I don't mind fixing it. but
How
I don't
far
wanna-
down
I don't
is
wanna
the
fix it.
drain from there, though?
From here to there, oh goodness, I'm horrible with that kind of stuff.
Oh,
I'd say
it's
maybe
gotta be a-
50 to 70 feet, somewhere in that range. It's like right at I think it's like almost at the foot of where their garage is there.
That's something that they should be able to go take a look at and
Yeah.
resolve very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it's not.
We shouldn't let it go.
I would just hate to see it just start
You're
to
gonna-
eat
we're
away
gonna
from the road.
Well, that's it. We're going to start losing the asphalt portion of the road.
Right.
It's good if you come in and let us know.
Because I'd hate to, something that could be resolved over.
Right.
You can see the wear on the edge of the road
You
there.
can see it right here.
And you can also see, I mean, I know it's just property, but that right there, that section, right now is just all dirt because it just washes right down.
And it wears away.
There's so much water where that bush is, it's pretty much from the bush all the way over. It's a ton of water coming down. It's like a little flood when you see it.
Because you're getting all of Prospect.
Right, because when it comes down here, there's another drain right there.
Okay.
But it comes down here and it crosses right over the road
And
there.
it doesn't hit that drain on the
Some
right.
of it does, but what's coming down doesn't, but what's coming this way does. That drain, it's the driest drain in town probably.
Well, it's high.
Yeah.
You know-
that huge bump right there.
Exactly. I noticed that because that's what
Yeah, you guys come up that road all the time.
exactly, yeah. And I kind of look at that and I say, wow, that really is high.
Yeah.
It's probably maybe 6 inches above the road.
Yeah,
It
if not
actually
even more,
banks up,
it's-
it's probably about that much higher.
Yeah.
So that's why
People
the,
bought him out to take that turn. We brought it up a couple of years ago, but we were told there's nothing you can do with Mother
It's
Nature.
a traffic control issue.
Hey, I'm fine.
Speak of the
I
devil.
don't make that turn, so I don't care. I make that turn, so it doesn't bother me.
Johnny, this is Mr. Laro, and he lives on the corner of West and, well,
This one here.
He lives right there.
Right here.
Prospect High in
This is West
West.
Street.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Prospect.
The water's coming down the road, and it's wearing out
Just really
the
washing
asphalt.
out that.
The asphalt on the corner,
Yeah.
but it's not hitting any of the drains at all. It just gushes down the road.
Okay.
I don't know.
There's a drain way down on this side where the White House is,
I think that's it right there.
okay?
And that one's West Street right there?
Yep,
Yeah.
that's West Street.
And if you, in the corner of that one, the water's not even hitting that at
Yeah, I've
all.
noticed that, there's a lot of drains there.
Okay.
But yeah, Mike, I just was, I don't know if it's just throwing some pavement and just kind of.
Deja vu. Yeah, there's either that or I might.
I blew all over.
The gentleman that plows that area again?
Arthur.
Arthur. I don't know how he does it, but he gets that truck to turn down there, and
not
I don't know if
very
it'd be easier if it was paved for him to get down there, you know what I mean?
Wait, I can check into it. We might be able to pave a swell.
Yeah, I don't
Or
know.
we could possibly
With a
rent
wing, I've ridden with him.
Oh, yeah.
It's
We'd have to rent a
amazing
machine
thing. Look
that
at
would,
High Street, you know,
be
the
a little
bridge.
bit on the expensive side.
There'll be
But
no
we'd have to rent a
snow
machine to
on the
mill it
guardrail.
out, and then we
It
pave a
doesn't
swell
touch
into the
the
road.
with
Because
that
a lot of
wing.
times.
All you really need to do is to stop this from rushing
Thank you very
down,
much. No, thank you.
is the state puts in those stone,
Bent a little, yeah.
Stuff that-
crushed stone,
Yeah.
I put all erosion stone all along the edge
2
of
inch,
mine.
but they'll put,
I could.
they'll put it in there,
We're talking.
put it in there, and then they'll make these little bump ups
Yeah, that's what I wanted
Yeah.
to-
Check
Every-
down to push it back out into the
every
road.
2 or 3 feet, but they do it out in the ditch. And that might help.
Yeah, I can look at some.
Yeah, because
He asked me if I wanted to try it.
Frosties.
And they do?
When we first moved in, it
No,
wasn't so
no,
bad.
I know better than
I remember.
that. He said,
The last few years, this one right here has just gotten so bad.
Really bad.
It was actually, they redid it.
kudos
Yes.
to me, and I'm still glad I didn't.
It's gonna swallow a
Right,
little
and right at the
Toyota.
top corner there,
He's the best.
to go the other way. That dip, remember I told you about that dip?
Oh, yeah, I've hit that dip before they repaired that.
Yeah. But
We
there,
get people hitting it all the time.
but there's a dip right at the corner opposite that.
Right?
There's a dip right when you stop at the stop sign at High Street.
Yeah.
There's a dip to take a right-hand turn.
Yeah.
That's not corrected yet.
Right.
And that's, your tire just goes way down, and then you take a right-hand turn. I mean, it's a good,
Onto Prospect, that one?
it's a homemade onto Prospect, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
It's sort of like a homemade speed bump, you know, you just, you know you're gonna hit it, it
I
goes...
like that part. Sometimes it causes people to stop at the stop sign.
Exactly. But, see what we can do. I know you've got it on the list for 2017
Right.
for Prospect,
I would
but
hate for it
not,
to turn into a huge project down the road,
Right.
you know, because originally,
Put some stone
you
in
could
it.
see where the
Take the water from,
fire hydrant was completely down, right where it connects.
talking about, this
This
is
side, it
West
used to be
Street.
pretty much level with
This
the
is
ground. Now this
Prospect,
side
there's
is
High
2 or 3
Street,
inches
the
lower.
water's coming down
And I
and
mean, you know, I just hate
eroding
to see
this
something
corner.
happen where that would.
Of course, when this
down
was
the
taken, I
road,
don't know.
It turns into a
But
$70,000
this, he
project.
said this is now all dirt because all that's been washed away by the erosion of rain.
All right, definitely, I'll come up there and
Yeah,
look at it.
but you know what the state does? They put in
all right,
Coffee for you, if that helps.
Oh,
2-inch stone,
good thing.
and they'll actually berm it up.
all right, so
this is
we'll,
like
we'll take a look at it.
3-4 feet.
Thanks. Thanks for bringing it to our attention.
Likewise.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very
Have a
much.
good night.
All right, so we'll take a look at the minutes of 5/5.
Motion to bring the minutes of May 5th to the floor for discussion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Aye. While we're doing the minutes, can you keep the, that tan request going so that Tim has it? I guess it has to be signed today.
On page 2, we mentioned the quote, but we don't put in what it was. If we're going to mention it, we probably should put in here what it was.
The quote.
The total.
T-Hop parking lot,
okay.
Johnny distributed a quote from Gilbert Block for the repair and replacement of railroad ties.
Yeah, I sent a note in case I didn't make it here in time for that, and it was my understanding we said that we would remove the foliage, and that we would be, and the rotted beams or railroad ties, and replace with whatever materials we had available.
I think we left it that Johnny was going to come back with a plan to see if we had enough granite. I
Yeah.
think we left it hanging.
Yeah.
I think that's
But
basically,
we did say remove the foliage.
remove the foliage and the rotted
Well,
materials that are there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna come up with something.
some of the foliage, I mean, there's some shrubbery in there that could stay. It's just, I think it's Regelia. There's some forsythia there down at the end. But the other thing we should consider is redesigning it. It's a T, but at the end, when it comes to the concrete, sewer station thing, it flares out. And there's absolutely no reason for it to do that. It could just go straight into it.
Yeah, because I was looking at that yesterday and today. I took
Yeah.
out some of the shrubs today. I have to prune it back in order to cut anything out. I can actually gain at least one parking spot, maybe two, if I redesign that to go straight into it.
Yeah, and it's not
Did we-
painted correctly. If you look at the
What we
lines,
dis-
especially on the east
What we
side.
decided, or discussed last week is what I was talking about, and
So,
it was my understanding we said we would remove at least all those hues.
The hues we should, but the
And I think that's what we said,
deciduous
yeah.
shrubs we should leave.
Yeah, I think we said that, to leave the front
Right.
stuff. but-
So it
So,
would,
I just want,
In the morning, to cut all the, Larry and I are going to cut all the shrubbery out of it.
and we
Are you going to
said,
leave the deciduous or just the
If you
hues?
want those there, I can. The ones down by the pumping station.
No, there's a couple. There's one by the pumping station, and I think there's one further up. The hues should definitely go.
yeah,
I
the
think it's a
problem-
venting station, but
It's not a pumping station,
it's
is
a
it?
venting.
Yeah. The problem is the transition of the elevation, you have those trees along the sidewalk.
And you want those to stay.
Those, yeah, we shouldn't take the trees down, I don't think.
So you took
But the
one down
bark
out
mulch
there.
has been piled so high, in fact, it's got a mound. It's not even flat and level with the ties. It's been
They've
mounded
plowed it.
up, which is horrible for a tree. And you can start taking it down gradually, but I don't think you can drop that elevation of that top down.
Not up there by the side.
No, so there's going to be a transition from this height if we drop this down.
I can put something up there for the transition.
Yeah, you could step it. You could definitely step it. So I think you've got some designing to do.
so back to the minutes, because we can talk to him later. The T-Hop parking lot, I think that we should do that either by removing the foliage, there were various suggestions of redoing that area by either removing the foliage, using granite for the corner pieces, or just paving it over. That is an accurate statement, because there was quite a discussion. What was determined was we were going to remove the hues, and Johnny was going to come up with a plan.
Right.
So, okay. Any other corrections or additions?
Make a motion to accept the minutes of 5/5 as corrected.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
aye,
Opposed? Abstain? Okay. Johnny, you're up.
All right, well, last week we were talking about the signs, and Granite Corps, which is the state correctional facility, their quote came in, and I forwarded those on to you through, and their quote was the lowest at $1,475.20. And I would recommend that we accept their quote for the signs that we need.
What was the state's quote?
$1,475.20.
Is that signs only, or are we getting some,
Well, I have their quote here. It's signs.
no posts?
There's some posts. Well, most of the posts we have. So I didn't include the posts. That's one of the things that drove the price down. And Also, we got better prices because it's a larger list order. But it's signs and also some of the nuts and bolts for the theft resistant and some brackets, you know, for the top, signs for the post. So, they also give us a 5% discount because of municipal.
And that's
So-
granite core, right?
It's Granite Core is what they call themselves, but it's New Hampshire
The state.
Correctional Industries.
Okay.
They were the lowest out of the four. And they do, I've seen their work, it's great work.
Okay. What's the board wish to
Need
do?
an actual motion for this?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to assign the bid to Granite Core for our street signs and speed limit signs, traffic signs.
You're gonna put a dollar amount?
How much is the dollar?
$14.75.20.
Not to exceed 1475.20.
Second.
The motion is to go with granite core for the $1,475.20 for our signs. All those in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Thank you. They didn't give me any, it's just a quote, they didn't give me any, thing to sign specifically. Thank you. And we were talking a little bit about Tilton House. I went down this afternoon, or the parking lot, not Tilton House, but the parking lot that's by Tilton House. And, in order to cut anything down, I gotta prune it in order to get back to the trunk anyway. So I went down and pruned a couple of them back. Tomorrow, Larry and I are gonna go down and we'll finish that up and cut everything out. It makes quite a bit of difference being able to see. And, I done some investigating, walking around, looking at it, trying to come up with some ideas. And as Catherine mentioned earlier, I think if we can get rid of those, for lack of a better term, wing wall, it goes into the, whatever station is there for the
The vent.
sewer. I think you will gain at least one parking spot, a safe parking spot, because as I was there today, people were actually parking in it, and it's only 5 or 6 feet wide, and people are still trying to squeeze into it. So it actually may be safer. Up top, where the trees are, as we said, I could probably come up with a step down for that. And we don't have enough granite to do the whole thing, but I can try to incorporate granite in with wood to come up with a different look. I don't know. But I will come up with something. I don't want to come up with something that looks crappy.
What if we left ties at the top and came down through the parking lot with granite? Would there be enough granite?
I don't have as much granite as I was thinking, but I can do granite
Does the
partially.
state have any in their scrap pile they make?
I haven't reached out to anybody yet, but, you know, I have to get it dig safe. I'll mark that out tomorrow. Get it dig safe to find out what all's under there, and then come up with a plan before I actually rip anything out. Run it by you guys. But we'll come up with something that looks good, better than it does now. Worst case scenario, it looks exactly like it does now, but new, you know, without rotting. But yeah, it's gonna be, still gonna be a fun project, I think.
Take some before and after pictures.
Yeah.
It's gonna be,
And then we'll get, with that, we'll do the one-way in and out. For this, I'll order some more signs. It won't be as big as this. I won't have to come back to you guys for another sign order, but I'll order signs for the entrance only and exit. And we'll paint some arrows and make it a one-way in and one-way out, and try to straighten up those lines a little bit better.
Did you look at them?
I've seen
That
them.
made you dizzy a little bit.
Yeah. And tomorrow, the street sweeper is coming back. One of them is gonna meet one of our guys at the Circle K or the Irving here in Tilton to finish that up. They were here Tuesday, everything that could've gone wrong did. It was just one of those days. So we'll finish that, complete it tomorrow. And hopefully all that'll get moving along. The cleanup, spring cleanup went well. Saturday was good. It was busy. We had a couple of breaks where people actually kind of cleared out. It was just enough time for us to catch back up, get everything put away and packed down, and then they showed up again. So that was, it actually made the day go by pretty fast. So that went well. The guys did a great job. We finally got rid of all of our electronics today.
Wow, nice. That was a lot.
Yeah, there was like 26 boxes.
Like pallet boxes?
26 pallets and boxes, yeah.
Nice.
Did we fill up both the extra dumpsters there with the construction debris? How
We
much
didn't.
did we have?
We didn't. But what I did do was, I got rid of all the ones that were full. And we had 2 C&D dumpsters that were full. So we got rid of those, had them haul them out, not bring them back. So we moved those back over, so we're gonna fill them. So we're not out anything. I'd rather have a couple extra than to not have enough, and then, because we don't
Yeah.
have an area, we have to hand pick it back up. So it worked out well. Last fall, when I did it, we had 1 extra that didn't get filled up, but it's better to have 1 than,
Yeah.
Do you remember the aluminum cages that those big plastic tubs of chemicals persons used to buy came in?
yeah.
They're like 5 by, I have 2 of those. Is that anything you could use for cleanup day to put that stuff in? I'm gonna junk them.
You gonna junk them?
I can bring it down and show them to you if you...
Well, the only thing is like when we put our electronics and stuff in, they go in Gaylord boxes, and then the whole box goes.
No, I mean, not just for electronics, but it's something you can put a forklift underneath, and then you've got this big container of... I don't know, it's nothing you can use as fine, I'll junk it.
Yeah, there's nothing I can think of.
I'll junk it. They're just nice cages, I have no
They
use
are.
for them. And they're aluminum, they don't rust.
Oh, and we talked earlier about doing the concrete out here on Monday. I actually have class Monday and Tuesday next week.
That's all right, it should be it's an easy thing,
Yeah,
but thank you for offering. It's just that I don't want to lose that opportunity to get rid of
Right.
concrete.
but I can have somebody else come down and help you. I'd rather not see one person out there by themselves. And
Okay.
that gets to be a pretty busy little intersection.
You'll see me out there tomorrow morning,
So,
if you're around at 6. But thank you.
I'm not gonna eat any of
Okay.
this. Just
We
browse.
had a resident call just before the meeting opened, and they had their recycling bin that was chock-a-block full, and they had extra recycling. They put it in a clear plastic bag on top of the recycling bin, and they had a note from Casella saying, "Don't put trash on top of the recycling bin," and they didn't take either.
I was just talking to Moriarty, Mr. Moriarty from Casella before the end of the day about picking up some more recycling bins tomorrow. And he was telling me this, I don't know if it's the same one, but it was on River Road is where he was at, and that somebody was actually putting trash in the recycling bin, so,
A lot of people do.
yeah, and then
They reject it.
They won't take it, so.
This is clearly recycling
It is?
material. Clearly recycling material.
All
And-
right.
And he put it in a plastic bag. The plastic bag may not be recycling, but if he left the plastic bag and said, "It's not recycling," I get it, but the recycling bin was chock-a-block full of
All
recycling, and that's not picked up. So now he's stuck with a full recycling bin for 2 weeks.
Do you guys want us to go get that, or?
I'd rather you call Best Way and have them go.
Start with
Because I can
Best
try to
Way.
get them to go get it.
Start with
Best Way
Best
should-
Way.
Their mistake.
I can, if you guys give the address to the office here, I can find out. Or just give me the address. I'll,
I'm sure we can get you the address.
Church
I will give it, no, I'll give him the telephone number.
because, yeah, if it's just a
It's
small trash bag.
off of Caleb.
Well, that plus the bin was full.
Yeah, that's what I mean, there's no reason you couldn't set the bag off.
Right. But when you set the bag over where it was clear plastic, you should have been able to see that it was all recyclables.
So many steps in there.
Apparently.
Well, they get new drivers, too. They have
Yeah.
a turnover.
On an extremely
Not
regular
just
basis.
your drivers, but
seems it,
the
yeah.
extra guys on the truck, the new faces.
That's a problem when you get large companies to take over where small companies used to be. A lot of people become numbers instead of names.
And that's a very difficult job.
It is.
It's heavy, it's hot, it's cold, it's bugs, it's wet. It's, and people, and it stinks a lot of times. So, you gotta have somebody strong and tough because it's a very physically demanding thing. And they think that, after a little while, a lot of them just don't last.
You put them out in the paving industry.
I was gonna say paving or concrete.
240.
Physical labor.
I think they,
Try paving when it's 95
that
out.
whole garbage thing, the smell alone adds a layer onto that.
Well, that's why it's nice when you have allergies, Joe. You don't smell it as much.
I would have made a great sewer.
Asphalt and concrete just blocks all that.
There's a new 2-week-old baby there, that's why.
I know exactly where you are now.
Okay.
Smells like rose.
So I told him that he'd expect a call from us
I'll call him,
in the morning or whatever.
I'll call him around 8 or 9. I don't like to call too early.
Okay. Did you get your message about Autumn Drive? That was
Yes,
brought up
I
at
did.
Budget Committee last night, okay.
I'm surprised it wasn't swept last year, but we had planned on it this year.
We're gonna repair the state road.
Is
Sounds like
Autumn
we're
Drive a state
sweeping it.
road?
You guys gotta
Autumn
make a
Drive is state
decision
road?
on that one.
No, it's a fight between us and DOT. Not
We
worth
worked on
spending
it
money.
last year.
Not worth spending money on. The
Autumn Drive is
legislative
ours, right?
process failed.
Autumn Drive is
I
ours.
can't help bringing it up.
There is some dispute
As to who?
as to who, but I know we paint it somehow because the Public Works guys were up there cutting out sections and
yeah, that's right.
redoing and
That's right.
You don't have to make a decision tonight, but sometime this summer, there's some work up there that I really need to do.
just do.
Or I need to make sure that somebody else does. And I need to know, but not tonight.
Just do it. The legislative body of town meeting was supposed to, according to the state legislature, would have had to have voted to take that as a town road. That vote never took place. But in order to win the battle, the town would have to spend lawyers' fees. Even though I believe we're right, I would not vote to spend those lawyers' fees on that, so just, that's my opinion. Burns my butt.
And you guys don't have to make decisions tonight. We also shared with you the RFP for the sidewalk. It's in your, so if you guys want to read over that, anything you may have come to mind, and
Did you write an request for a quote, or did you, are they proposing it?
it's an RFP, request for proposal,
You didn't-
for the sidewalk here at Town Hall.
Oh, yeah.
So, obviously, I just sent it to you today, so you can read it over.
I do have something to talk to the director with in non-public. Would the board like to go into non-public now? Or would the board like to ask Johnny to stay around till 7 till we have non-public?
Let's just do it right now.
Yeah.
Having him hang out for 2 hours seems a little cruel somehow.
Do we have anything else in public for Johnny? Everything's okay?
I guess there's one
Oh,
thing.
I do have one other thing in public for Johnny. Yesterday, in the board. Yesterday, the New Hampshire DOT was out here by the drain next to Town Hall, on School Street right here. And it looked like they were measuring and cutting out and going to be ready to cut it out. And I said, are you going to be starting this drain next? And he said, no, why? And I said, well, because we did talk about, I explained who I was. We did talk as a board a few weeks ago whether or not we wanted to tie in the gutter drain into the other one. And I wasn't really, I couldn't remember whether it was definitive or not to a yes. And he said, that's fine. If we want to do that, we need to do that soon because he's ordering the drainage, the
Manhole.
right, from Ossipee. So it needs to be done. You need to get in touch with him, and he said he'd hook us up. So, in talking with Catherine earlier, that perhaps maybe we can just ask him to do his portion of it and leave that open for us, and then when we do the sidewalks,
Tie in.
now we can just tie into that piece.
Yeah, have them stub out if they can.
Yeah, because we talked to the
Right.
state at the time, and he was like, that was
Right, we were
fine.
at that, and I explained that to him, he was fine with it, he just, sooner rather than later, we need to tell him, yes, we're gonna go ahead with it, and we'd like it stubbed out, so that when we do our, later in the year, when we do our sidewalk, we can tie into that.
All right, yeah, I'll get a hold of those guys tomorrow, then I'll
Okay.
come down here first thing.
Everybody okay with that?
Yeah, that's great. I just have one question. On the, Joe, this probably you could figure or answer it. With the blue bags, I went and picked up some trash along the road from, like up by Chili's down to Grant Street and did that. And I put the bag out, but today was also trash day for Casella. So this is what they did with the blue bag. They said it needs to be in a purple bag.
Put a sign out and say, I'm
So-
sorry, I'm colorblind.
What I did is I just opened the bag up and I put the trash back from where I got it from, so I wouldn't have to spend the $1.50 for the purple bag.
Oh, well, excellent, John.
So what should I do?
Wait till June 2nd?
The state picked him up over on 132.
No, they
Okay.
didn't.
Who did then?
We did.
Did you? Okay, I thought it was the state.
No, it was us. I told him to go
Good,
look.
good, that's what it was, that was the way it was supposed to work.
If I'd known it was there, I would've
Yeah.
just got it.
So there you have that, when you place the blue bags, let town hall know, and then the public works guys go and collect them.
Are
You can also bring it down to the DPW on Saturday and just throw it in their dumpster.
So you're accepting them?
The ones for roadside, because that actually, it benefits us when people do that, because
You don't have to,
we're not picking it
what
up.
time, yeah.
I don't think we've ever had Public Works go out and pick up the litter along the roadside.
The guys told me they did.
We've never had it like this, where we had a day
20
and
years
and
ago, I
that
think
kind
it
of thing.
Maybe
Well, they had the pickers and everything.
I'm sure if you ask Dennis, you'll find out that in town,
Yeah, that's what I mean, in
in
town.
town,
or
but
if
not down,
Not
like
on-
132 and
Well, they knew they were gonna be there.
not down in
Yeah.
Lockmere.
Yeah, not on the state roads. It's usually,
It's only in town.
yeah, usually what happens, our
Discriminatory.
guys didn't go out and pick up on the state roads. I mean, yeah, we picked up some of the bags.
Yeah.
Because, like, if I was to see a tire or a mattress on a state road, I'm not gonna leave it there
Drive
for
it,
6
drive
weeks
by
and
it
hope
for, yeah.
that the state can
Makes us
pick it
look
up.
bad, yeah.
But,
I do, I call them up.
well, I can call them up, I have in the past, but I'm not gonna ignore it for the sake of the town, not wanting to drive by and see that all the time, or,
And if you got space and you got dumpster back,
Yeah.
anybody should do it. Now, does that end on the 17th?
Commencing on the 2nd of June,
Yep.
which is a Tuesday, you will not have to use purple bags.
talking
No,
about
I'm
the
talking
blue
the blue
bags.
bags.
I don't think that really,
There was a resident that thought that,
May 14th was the official date, but you can pick them up and do it anytime you want.
so after May 14th, it's okay to continue to help pick up trash into the blue bags?
Absolutely.
And we'll help you out.
So how long are we gonna have our guys picking up trash on the side of the road? Because they have more.
Till May 14th.
Well, if they see
just
something,
Or right after May 14th, that's our
Then it
official day.
ends. We're not doing this all summer?
No,
Okay.
no.
I think that's what
We
John's
have an
question is.
official
No.
day, May 14th, right after that, we'll pick up all the blue bags.
I'll run this by you guys. This is something I've always done in the past, and I'll run it by you guys to get a consensus or a rolling or whatever you want to call it. What I've always done at a transfer station, because this is my third one I've been at now, if somebody comes in, because you can tell the difference between roadside and household trash.
Yep.
If somebody comes in and says, hey, I picked up all this stuff along the side of my road, whether it be Prospect or Dunlop or anywhere. I picked it all up. Does it have to be in a container, or if it's, let's say it's something that goes in a demo container or whatever the case may be, I'd never charged them for stuff like that. Because in essence, they're doing us a favor, because if they didn't pick it up and bring it to us, we would have, where we would normally have to.
I've picked up tires and
Yeah.
TVs and brought them down and never got charged.
Okay, I was just making sure, because that's what I've always done.
How do you really know that they picked it up on the side of the road?
a little road grime on it? Yeah.
Well, you don't really know, but even
And
so.
listen, I can take you to a place where I know tires are being stored, not thrown on the side of the road, and trust me, they got road grime full of water. You couldn't tell if they were from the side of the road or from this lot.
That, if somebody was coming in with like a truckload of tires,
Does that happen
So
a lot?
I'm telling you, is to be careful with that.
I do
I mean,
try.
it's not,
So,
yeah.
but that's why I was bringing it up here.
I'm
that
not,
happen a lot?
I'm not,
No.
No, but sometimes it does, because you can come in, you can see where the rain hit the water and it splashed up onto it and all that kind of stuff. Okay. But,
I don't, I'm uncomfortable with that.
I would just hate
I
to
wouldn't
see,
charge 'em.
if somebody
But
went
it's-
down, tried to do it, and got mad, pissed off, they'd go leave there and throw it in the
Yep.
side of the road somewhere, and we'd have to go pick it up later.
now what I've done in the past too with that is like people throwing stuff on the side of the road or on somebody else's property, they come to me asking I not have to pay for this, because why should I have to pay for somebody else's? Here we have the, that officer, what's it called? Health officer, that you would call.
A darn health officer.
But other towns, I would say, well, if you call the police and they come over and give you a number, like they would assign a number for investigation or whatever, and they tell me that it's been dumped illegally dumped, we used to be able to accept that. I'm just asking for that because
No, you
of-
call me because there's a process, I have a couple,
That's why-
actually, well, the one that you're gonna, I mean, there's no way to find out, there's no names, I looked. There's nothing identifying about those tires and that mattress, there's just
Right.
nothing.
Right.
I did find garbage there in 2013 that we identified, but this isn't. I have another one that I've got to contact DES to be certain of what I think is correct, and that is, you can't create a land.
Yeah, I was just asking
Landfill.
for informational
So-
purposes.
Yeah, if you have a situation, just call me,
Okay,
and
perfect.
I'll deal with it. And sometimes they bring the police in, depending on what it is. Sometimes they don't.
Good.
Just so you know, when seniors helping seniors, it's been, gosh, Catherine, probably when you were first selectman, right? At Tilton School.
Tilton School has almost, I can't remember when they didn't do it. It's a very nice thing they do.
They do, and there were 14 homes, 13 of them were in Tilton. One was in Northfield, and I notified the Northfield to pick it up, as in the past, the 8 years, I've always given Dennis and Johnny a list of the homes that they're breaking, so they could pick the bags up the following Monday. And I was met with, I'm not going to use the word resistance, but it was a very negative. I will let the selectmen know and see if we can pick it up, but it'll be a while before we get the answer back. So that person over in Northfield, even though the seniors did a great service to the community, the bags are on the side of the road, and who knows when she's ever going to get the bags picked up.
How many bags?
I have no idea. I never been over there, but usually, generally, depending on the property, it's probably about 5 to 6 bags, would you say? 5 to 8 bags,
Yeah, it's
maybe.
not a whole lot.
Is it garbage or
Mine was only
leaves?
that
Leaves.
Leaves.
Don't we compost them?
Yeah.
It's in Northfield.
So it's not like we pay tonnage.
No.
So we'll just go get them. I'll go get them. I got a pickup truck. I'll go get them. We just dump them out and
You
take the
don't have
bag.
your green card, you can't cross town line.
They're actually pink.
No. Yeah, give me the address. I'll go get them.
Okay.
And then we'll just dump them out and leave pile them.
Yeah, that's it. We'll just roll them over.
That's very sad.
It is.
Can we send a note to the selectmen
Send a note telling
that
them.
we took care of
Don't
it?
worry, we'll
Yeah, we
take care
took
of
care
it.
of your problem.
Can you do that, Joyce?
I have an asphalt question. Do you cut joints in asphalt sidewalks?
Sure, you can cut joints anywhere. It gives you a clean cut.
I didn't think you wanted water to...
That's
Good.
why you put the tack coat or emulsion down to help it seal tight.
Okay.
Can cut a joint, but
And it depends.
yeah.
Well, this
If you can
is...
feather it in, you can, I would just suggest you use tack coat.
I am just reading this bid form, and I don't know asphalt, so I'm looking for the expert.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking
And
about.
it
then.
says, remove all
that's for the
the
driveway.
existing asphalt, shoot
Okay.
grades for pitch and water flow, add gravel and vibratory roll as needed for proper compaction. And then it says, cut all joints for walkways, driveways, roadways, and so on. So they're gonna cut joints for these
For the
things before they put asphalt down?
Huh?
What fun.
The cuts are, when you cross over a driveway or you're, on this one, unfortunately, because the sidewalk actually goes up against the road, you're gonna have to cut that.
It goes up against the curb.
Not where, like the driveway is right here.
Oh, okay, so
You have
you're
to-
going to saw cut you're gonna saw cut a joint to remove the
To
asphalt.
remove it, because otherwise it'll
Okay.
rip it
The
out
way this
into-
is written, it sounds like you're cutting expansion joints.
Okay.
I didn't think you needed expansion
No.
joints in
No
asphalt.
expansion joints.
No expansion joints in asphalt, okay.
No, but they will develop cracks almost like expansion
likely.
joints.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. I was just curious, it had baffled me.
okay.
But now that they're gonna put the top coat on this, it's actually probably the best time to butt it up against, because they'll stand a better chance of bonding, so.
Okay.
So probably should have said...
Any other questions for Johnny? I'll make a motion to go into non-public for RSA 91A, colon 3, personnel.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Yes.
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 We are red, red is on.
Okay. So we still have another month or so for Old Home Day.
Is it?
But you were going to ask for volunteers. Did anybody volunteer?
I haven't asked anybody yet,
But you-
because if I wait, it's too early to ask them. I'll be there anyway, as far as, it's at the end
I
of
didn't
June.
do that.
Last
First time in
Saturday,
5.5
Yeah,
years.
the last Saturday in June. I'm usually there anyway, so I'll help out any way I can. And I will make them the offer of volunteering, or, like you guys said, if they want to take some time off during the week for whatever reason, they then come in and I can give them straight time for that time. They might take up on it, I don't know. But I guess I find out that the transfer station usually is open on Old Home Day. So, that's open. I thought you guys said it wasn't, but it's open.
Okay.
So,
I make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public session as it pertains to personnel permanently.
Second.
All those in, roll call vote.
Yes.
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 I have a discussion.
Oh,
Was there
discussion.
anything in that conversation that needed to be sealed? Because it wasn't
And how
about
did we go into
personnel.
non-public session?
It wasn't a personnel. Well, that's what I'm asking.
We discussed some aspects of personnel. Anything that didn't have to do with personnel would be public.
No, not necessarily.
I only sealed it for the personnel part.
Wait a minute.
We didn't talk specifically about personnel.
We talked about one guy and one guy's performance.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. Communication.
I can buy that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's
Unanimous.
unanimous. All right,
Anything that wasn't personnel is public.
okay, I guess we're done, and if everybody else has any questions for Johnny.
I'm done.
No. Oh, we're gonna have purple bags left over? Would Samberton be interested in buying the purple bags? Did we?
It's like Tilton Fresh on.
There will be a number of cases left in the warehouse, and we have to pay for those, albeit not $1.50 a bag or $1.25 a bag, but at that point, we own them. So we'll need to store them somewhere, disperse them somehow, or just save them, or however we decide we're going to deal with them. But I forget what he said, but there's going to be multiples of cases, like 40 cases or something.
Jesus.
Well, maybe if we line them 2 or 3 at a time, we can use them in the trash bins around town and in the
They're
parks.
not big enough.
They're not big enough.
That's the
Well,
problem.
they're not strong enough either.
So,
No.
Johnny, do you think that they could, if we transfer all, and make sure that none get loose?
once you guys
Would buy a
At Town
decide,
Hall, you'll have enough for 30 years.
Buy a house on School Street.
once you guys decide, what I'll do is I'll take it to
They must have
Samberton
had 40 pieces.
and the selectmen's meeting and.
Did it work?
Talk to the DPW over there.
Oh, there you go.
And I'll ask them if they're interested, because I don't see why they wouldn't be, because it's not like there's a lot of purple bags running around that they wouldn't recognize.
Concord has them.
Yeah.
You would just have to let your carrier, your person who picks them up, know that they can pick up
We only have
bags.
one person that picks them up, and
So you just
everybody
simply
else-
tell them that
So-
they could pick up Tilton trash bags.
Joe, do you know what the cost is? Could we come
I
up
want to
with
say 21 cents a bag.
21
That sounds
cents a
about
bag? So, if they'd be interested in them all in entirety, because you would want us to have some of them that could somehow, somebody
We
get
could
them
use
and
them
mix
all
them
the
in.
town buildings.
Sure.
Black market for, a purple market for bags.
That has happened.
I
Not here, not
believe
right
it.
here, but it has
Okay.
happened. But yeah,
If we do an inventory, a bona
What
fide
does
inventory.
Samberton use, bags or stickers?
both.
What do you pay for your bags?
We shop around, we probably pay less than Tilton did.
We have
For a
the,
better quality bag?
we have, they collect the money for us, and they do the accounting for us, and
Oh,
they send us.
see, we
ti-
did all that on
We
our
paid
own.
for that part of it as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, we do all
Even if
that
we-
on our own, so, because we have
Slight loss.
attendants there all the time.
It's figured into the bag
No,
price.
Give them prices.
What do you think, 10 cents each?
But I think if Samberton's willing to do that, I think we can negotiate a price,
So,
and then we would have
Yeah, once you guys
Get one for
decide
here.
and you get your wind down period all done,
Right.
and you have them, I can talk to them, because whenever
It's
they're
gonna
ready
take a
for
while
more-
to get them shipped up here. They'll ship them all at once, I assume.
There is a huge discrepancy out there among the residents, because there's a lot of residents out there that think that we're going to buy back their unused bags, and that's not so.
I've never heard anybody say that from the town.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard people ask about it. I brought it up early on.
I have 7 phone calls just this week on that. When will the buyback
I say,
program start?
what I say is, no, we're not buying back bags from residents. However, you can start buying, you don't have to buy a sleeve the last week or the last 10 days.
No, it's starting now, Joe, because you can't ask the selectmen, ask the residents to plan and come the week before.
I'm all about starting them
running
at the
out
beginning
now.
of May. I thought we would start in the beginning of May, selling them one by one downstairs.
We are.
Apparently, the
Yeah.
word didn't get out. Because I know of one resident, former selectman lady, used to sit in your seat, John, who had to buy a sleeve because, here at Town Hall, because we weren't selling them yet one by one. So,
Well, that prompted a discussion, and we're selling them.
and we are now.
That's
Okay, I
correct.
figured it was just a communication glitch, but as of now, you can get them one by one here. I'm pretty sure that Billy Lawrence was doing it, but he's out of bags and not going to reorder. The store has still got a few sleeves left, and they've got one of each that's open with like, you can buy one bag there if you want.
And there are signs posted at all the
It's
locations?
signed to, I gave them a thing to put on their counter at every location.
You want me to take some to the transfer station for the weekend, or, no?
Then you'd have to take money.
Okay.
You want to take money? That would be a pain.
Just me, it wouldn't matter, but,
Right.
So if Samberton wants to come up
Who's
with
on
an
the
offer,
transfer this weekend?
Art and Larry.
we'll entertain offers on the remaining bags as well. We'll entertain offers from Samberton for
The
the lot
remaining
in
bags.
entirety.
Dollar?
A bag?
Oh,
You'll get
yeah.
us? Sold. All of them.
Yeah.
You just got 40 cases at $1 a bag?
Lot.
Oh,
I
$1
think
for
that
the
we
lot.
should
think you're paying
entertain
too much.
selling them to
I think
Samberton
you're
for
paying
less
too
than they
much.
have to pay for their
$1
bags.
for the lot?
For the lot.
Cut back on our order from Hilliard.
All right, you pay us $1, we'll take them off your hands.
There's 10.
If you drive up and pick them up.
Well, if you're paying 23 cents a bag, would you say you're paying a bag?
That's what I'm thinking of the.
I don't know for
We're paying, what, 21, 23?
Yeah, so if we sell them to you for less than what you're paying for your bags
I'll
now,
find out. But
it makes sense. It doesn't
We
make
got a
sense.
deal for you.
Yeah,
because we use stickers and
bags cheap. That's what we've got, bags
stickers
cheap.
I could get stickers, but I started the sticker program. I could buy 50,000 stickers for like $1,500 or something, and the bags were, oh my God, expensive one. At one point.
Yeah.
Okay, we're only 45 minutes late now, so let's, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you guys for not beating me up too bad.
You're still working.
Yeah, you're still walking.
Thought I was supporting
I'm
you.
sitting down the whole time. so-
No visible bruising
visible
or anything.
I thought I
You
was
know,
supporting
it
you.
gets hot up here.
All right, Joyce,
Joyce has one or two things that I'll stick for.
Just talking about the awnings,
Oh, the awnings
and
and
what was the other thing?
Oh,
Oh, the
the job description.
job description?
I have one comment on the job description. Can we remove the word unskilled?
Sure.
Because to me, it's semi-skilled and some of it may be skilled.
But they don't necessarily have to have those skills to learn them either.
No, but if you say it's unskilled, then,
You
Looking for
got
a
some type
laborer.
of skill.
yeah, but also to run power equipment.
A lawnmower. Gonna get them in
All right,
class.
what-
Well, you gotta
Oh, I
get them
see.
certified,
Skilled.
remember? We'll send them over to,
I have semi-skilled, where is unskilled?
It said unskilled on the sheet that I had.
on your email you sent it, believe, let's see, back here.
Give me a paragraph.
Give me a sec, help wanted at, here we go, give me a second, gotta open it.
Oh, yeah, that already went out.
The laborer.
Job description
Job
doesn't have
summary.
that.
The job
Well, I thought when we
summary
were discussing job
performs a
description, I had
variety
said the same
of
thing.
routine, unskilled manual
Okay,
labor.
I can, yeah, because the job description, it says skilled and semi-skilled.
Okay.
Okay.
This is the job
Well,
I
description.
can
then
catch
for-
that, that's no problem. I don't think I can
That's
catch
what
it
you're
in
looking at.
tomorrow mornings, but I
What
can
you're looking at.
in the next 2 days
Oh,
in
no,
the
you're
Citizen,
looking at
and it's
this.
1 day in the...
Unskilled. But the job description says unskilled.
Where does it say unskilled?
Right in the very first sentence, right here.
Oh, semi-skilled.
The fifth word is unskilled.
The
Word.
job description hasn't gone out yet.
Okay.
We're talking $12
Unskilled
an hour.
manual laboring duties.
Semi-skilled.
Just say manual laboring duties.
Yeah.
Yeah,
manual
routine, get the
laboring
skilled part
duties.
out of it.
There you go.
That way, if there's some minor training going, well, we didn't say it was unskilled.
All right, so you want me to take that out of the job description
Just
as
put
well?
this whole skill word right out.
Yeah, get rid of skilled, and
Okay.
thanks.
And then you go down in the primary duties, in the third one, it says duties in assisting skilled and semi-skilled workers. So I'll just say assisting workers.
Do we mow brush?
Do what?
Do we mow brush?
I have.
If you got a bush hog, I guess.
No, I did it with the Raptor.
What pair, mows grass?
I'd mow the
weeds-
sumac down if I
Weeds
could.
and brush.
We got blockers and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you got,
Mows grass, weeds, and brush.
yeah, you can.
I think we're
Bittersweet
okay.
and stuff.
I don't think our lawnmowers are designed for mowing brush. I've seen
Okay,
them.
let's
It
let...
does better
let's
on
not
brush
go
than
You have
rocks.
weed
Let's
whackers.
cut the brush.
It's not a lawnmower.
Okay, but this says specifically mows grass, weeds, and brush.
We're leaving some
Or it
grass
says
though,
mows
apparently.
grass, weeds, and brush. What do we do with weeds and brush?
Oh, we don't mow it.
What's
cut
the
them?
difference between
Haven't-
weed and grass?
Cut.
Can we just change the word mow to cut, and then it covers
There
everything?
you go.
Okay.
It's less letters, too.
Rakes and packs, leaves and debris. There's culverts and drains, roads. and-
Yeah.
Where are we moving the sand?
Some of the sweep up.
Oh, with wheelbarrow. Okay, I got you now. It said move sand, dirt, trash, stone. I didn't know where we were moving it, but it did say with wheelbarrow.
Do you need a medical card for a 1 ton in town?
No.
What's the GVW?
I don't know.
1 ton it should be,
Yeah, we have to have a medical,
Northfield.
we have to
I was
have
gonna
a
say.
medical card for a 1 ton.
unless you do like one of my former employers and rated it at like 9,800.
Put them in a pickup truck.
Remove
Just
1
put 'em
ton.
in a
Well, we had
pickup
up to
truck.
2
1
ton.
ton's a big
3/4
pickup.
ton?
It's that big.
What tonnage truck, what size truck?
Well, no, if you're going to have him
Pickup truck?
operating the 1 ton, then somewhere in here, he'll have to have a medical card,
Yeah, the
right?
DOT physical
But our
card.
pickup trucks are 3/4 ton.
Right, but your small dualies are 1 ton.
Well, we won't have them drive it.
It's a big 1 ton.
So he's gonna have to
Big
have a
1
medical
ton?
card if he's
So
gonna
it'll be
operate.
over 10,000, right?
So then, if you're gonna require him to
Don't
operate it,
drive that.
then somewhere in here, it's gotta note that he needs a medical card, that's all. Or take it out.
Must have a valid, I'm
But
sorry,
just in case, it wouldn't be a bad idea.
must have a valid New Hampshire driver's license and medical card?
Well,
Not if he's only driving the 3/4 tons.
Didn't we set a price of $12 an hour or something like that? And we're gonna ask him for
Just put them in the three-quarter.
CDL?
Just don't let him drive it.
no,
Change
it's
it
just a
to
medical
Just a
card.
3/4 ton, just a pickup, 3/4
So
ton
you can
pickup.
have a medical card without a CDL?
Yes,
You can.
because your 10,000 CDLs are what, 26,000?
26/1.
Yeah.
They have to go for
Just go to the
a
crate.
physical, and we drug test our CDLs, do you want to have this guy drug tested as well?
If it's within the policy.
Oh, Buxton.
Well, we have to for our CDL.
Just don't get
The only other thing about the medical
Somebody's going to be
thing is we
very
pay for
excited about
that.
that.
So,
We're going to pay for his physical.
So it's up to you. If you want him to drive the 1-ton, he needs a
would love
medical
that.
card. If you don't
He's
want
not
him to
big
drive the 1-ton, then he doesn't need a medical
well,
card.
he's gonna get a physical anyway, so, and he keeps it.
It's up to you.
Well,
So it might be a
the
bonus
medical
for the
card
next job.
has to come from a specific doctor, though.
Our doctor does them both.
Right, does he?
We use Franklin Regional Hospital.
If we
That's where
don't need
send
it,
the
let's not
occupational.
buy it.
We used to use one up there across from the Belknap Mall, but they moved. Lakes Region. In fact, those are going to be scheduled for July.
Okay, so are we changing it to 3/4 ton or leaving it up to 1 ton? And if if you think he's gonna drive the 1 ton, then we'll have that when he gets his physical.
All right.
Part-time, 3/4 ton.
3/4 ton.
Yeah.
3/4 ton. I won't put him in the 550. That's the one.
If you got to, send him then for the physical,
If I got
for the
to.
card or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think you can get
This
away
is a
without
12-week
doing it.
period, right?
Yeah.
$12 an hour.
Why is he getting a physical?
And,
To be a laborer.
Because we wanna make sure that we don't get, if he gets hurt, he doesn't have a pre-existing condition.
Bad neck, bad back,
The
bad
labor.
knees, bad whatever.
We should have had, the other recent hire we had have a physical.
Oh, you mean me?
No, the other.
Especially you.
No, the other one.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah, we didn't have a professional background check. We just had a PD background check. Now, that was gonna be my question for you guys.
change our policy?
Professional background check with the state police, or do you want just our department to do one?
No, let's do the
Person-
statewide.
Personally, as a selectman, been here for 8 years and seen some issues arise, I really would go with the statewide. I just, it's a little bit of money. I really believe that we should do that.
And the person
Yes.
can't start until we get that.
I think you can go right down to, Concord and get
Yeah,
it.
you go to the state police in Concord. Okay.
Well, I think for employment, we can do it. They can do it, but the PD's charged to do it. They can go in and do it if it's,
They can go to the, down by
Chief
the
will be here at
registry
what,
and
7?
get a
We can
copy
ask
of it
him?
and bring it up.
ask them.
I can go down and do it, actually.
Our police,
No, I'm
Can't do
talking
a-
about the state.
Yes.
They request a state from our PD, or a
Just ask the
state
chief to
one.
process.
And they don't have to go down to Concord to do it. Well, we'll ask the chief, but I believe that's the way we could do it, because we had it on a couple of others.
if we do it with the school, we have to go
It's
down to
like
Concord.
75.
We just get fingerprinted at our PD, but we had to go down to Concord.
Pick up your,
I don't know the answer to that. But we have to, there's certain requests that you can make, and I think the reason, the only
I can't even believe I
get into that portion of the request is employment
English
or
language, but they have to be conversant. Sure.
something else.
read
It's not
this, you
drugs
know.
or anything like that. It's for,
Is there anything,
we'll make sure we ask the chief that.
is there anything else?
There's no apartment in that building, so if you're living there, then you should have access.
Well, under minimum qualifications, then where it says must have a valid New Hampshire driver's license, and I'll put, and if driving a 1-ton, a medical card.
I'm sorry.
And if driving a 1-ton, if he's driving a 1-ton, you
It would
need
be-
a medical card.
Yeah.
When the,
Are the big trucks CDL?
It's an issue for the code.
So the application, the people are told to pick up an application in the selectman's office. Gail and I will tell the person that they, the successful candidate has to go for a physical, drug test, and a criminal background check.
Let them know that before they take the application.
Yes.
Yeah, save some time.
It might weed some out in more ways than
Same
one.
paper, same paper.
All right, called that, I can't do anything about the one that's...
That's fine.
in the paper tomorrow morning,
That's
but
fine.
the others, and the ones I sent out to all the department heads and everybody else.
Is it on the website?
Yeah, I'll check, I'll just go back to my email list and send that all out.
Good.
That only took since March 31st.
That's something I have to deal with, it's not a town issue.
Okay. Should I wait till she gets off the phone? Okay, now, you're gonna be approving the notice that's going out to the people, because we really need to get that in the mail tomorrow. We're gonna be fighting with Cindy to use the folding machine and the copier
The notice.
What notice?
Notice for what?
for the hearing on June 2nd.
The public hearing, different street budget,
Oh, for the parking?
skills and forward and violence.
Are you looking at me like I have it? Do I have it?
I mean, it won't take that long to do, we just wanna get it done. All right, so I'll make those changes, and, maybe, well, after that, we'll talk about the awnings. Didn't get a chance to go down, I'll go down tomorrow, and but I'll give them a heads up.
They're all done.
All of them. Okay, I thought it was just 2 that were left.
We could cut it out that way, but it's okay for the winter.
Specifically making Chestnut Street a one-way street, enforcing no parking or eliminating sidewalks. Cedar, spruce, pine, and High Street speeding.
So wait,
And then these will be the
so
addresses we'll use.
parking is only dealing with Chestnut?
No,
Okay,
it's dealing with all of them.
okay.
So what do you want to word it as? It's dealing with it all.
Yeah.
I got the feeling that if they have any
The other week
concerns
it was
about
when they
any
were
of those
meeting
streets,
here,
they'll be
you know.
here.
No, that's what I felt too.
Because it goes around.
Make your voice heard.
It's notice of public meeting to discuss village district parking,
Yep.
specifically making Chestnut Street a one-way street, enforcing no parking or eliminating sidewalks, cedar, spruce, pine, and High Street speeding. What do you think?
The whole neighborhood is
Yep.
gonna be, I'm gonna get one of those, and I live on Chestnut, but all right, they're gonna talk about Chestnut, I'm going. I live on High Street, I'm going, you know, because, hey, wait a minute, if they make Chestnut a one-way, they're gonna all be going in front of my house.
Okay, well then, do you want me to include, like, Highland Ave and
Yes.
High Street?
Everybody in the
Because they're going to
area.
use all those streets. Yes.
Okay.
Linden,
Chestnut, a one-way street, is going to affect Linden. It's going to affect Highland. It's going to affect Pine.
West.
It's going to affect West Street. All of
When
those,
they come down Cedar Street?
it's going to affect Cedar Street. It's going to affect Maple Court.
Prospect, Winter,
Who knows where they're gonna go?
that's right.
Maple, Poplar, Cedar, Spruce, High Street Extension, Pine, Linden, Highland.
Maple Court,
Any tree.
I said Maple first.
Yeah.
Any of the tree streets at all.
Yeah.
Daniel
All
Drive.
the ones that are purple. will
yeah,
do.
Daniel Drive.
Lucy?
That could increase significantly some of that traffic up there.
Daniel Drive,
They are up there?
they are.
The speed bumps are in?
All but Academy. I got them.
Okay, so Daniel Drive is in and Academy hasn't gone in yet.
Because I have to get the signs.
Yes, okay.
Yes, Joyce, all the purple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm happy.
All the tree
Yep.
streets
Can
and,
I have the notice that you posted?
Yes.
You want
I trust
to wait,
you,
let
Judge, and she
Catherine
lives
comment on that, or just do it?
should go everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Our first intern that we've,
Yeah, we have that in our file.
we do, yeah, so, It was great. It was a good experience for everybody.
Intern.
And I think Dari wrote a
Land use.
Oh, the land use guy?
letter of recommendation.
That guy was great.
You have it in your packet.
He's a fine, I didn't see. He was a fine young man. I had the pleasure of working a couple times with him.
Jeremy?
Yep.
Yeah, he helped with the town reports, amongst other things.
Okay. Nice.
He was a good, smart,
Well, I want to
smart
save
like
my
whip.
copy, because I think that's a wonderful letter of recommendation.
Smart like whip.
I think he wrestled in high school, too.
Yes, he
Yeah, he
did.
did. Yeah, he did. We talked wrestling.
So can I have my copy back?
I've got it. As it turns out, I did have it.
Okay, good. He writes so well.
Would it be fitting for the town to roll in piggyback on this and issue them a,
I think this is fun.
Okay. What's next?
Okay, you signed the warrant, and Cindy will be, and Kim will be getting in the mail, because Cindy will be gone next week. And just a real quick analysis of where we are compared to last December. Our total taxable value, now that's not including the exemptions, but our exemption amounts are down from last December. We increased our values by call it 2.4 million.
wow.
Taxable value.
What was that, 18?
So that's roughly, it's about almost 0.5%. Not quite 1%, 0.5%. Usually we figure 1% a year. So,
It's not a recent
oh,
picture.
I have copies for you, because you can look and see, like, the parcel difference, number of parcels, and it's just something when you don't have anything to do.
Didn't see that part. Back when I was still a boy, sort of.
This is Gil, I'm sorry, I forgot I made copies. And did Cindy give you this?
Yep.
Okay,
We all have that.
that's the deeding.
So as soon as that's done, I'm gonna do my door-to-door.
The other thing is the awnings, the guys took the awnings out, and they are in worse shape than we thought they were when we took them down last fall. So I'm gonna go down tomorrow, they put them in the basement, look at them again. I know there's at least 2 on this side that need to be re-sewn. I mean, I'll take them, I don't know if they can re-sew them because the seams are rotting out. There may not be any fabric there to put the thread in. But I'll look at that tomorrow, and then if they're hopeless, I'll come next week. And a couple years ago, we did RFPs for replacing all of them, so I can dig that out. There's only 2 people that had responded to that.
How old are they?
1985, I
yeah.
think. 85,
Wow, that's good.
yeah. Also, I think the town hall looks great without a tree there. So, Bob Hardy gave me the name of a guy at the state dredge that specializes in dwarf trees, and he'd given Catherine the number. I don't know if Catherine called him yet or want me to call him to see what they would recommend. And then Bob could get us the tree. I think it looks really nice without a tree. Like, you walk there now, you can see the sign that says
And I like that aspect as well, but doesn't that put that sun beating down on those windows?
Yep. They really want shade.
Yeah. And
We can, I guess if we put up the awnings,
deciduous trees
I
are
really
great
think that
for
you
doing
need to
that
pursue-
because they'll block the shade or the sun in the summer, and in the winter they'll let it in, so they work as a good.
Instead of waiting for next week, Joyce, going downstairs, looking at the assessing that, I think that you really need to dig out the quotes for the awnings
Then I
and
wouldn't worry about it. It was just letting you know that.
reconnect with them and find out what's a legitimate quote now, so that we can have it next Thursday. And then when you go down and reassess, then we'll know exactly what we're up against. I got a feeling that this is the year, because you said last year that we were really close. One of them, last year, he said he wasn't gonna redo. It was torn away, remember? He had to put a
Right, we
new
didn't-
piece in.
No, we didn't put it up.
Yeah. and
Okay.
Went up on Tim's, I think.
Actually, attendance.
We're minus one.
So we're gonna have to replace some, right?
So 20 to 30 years old.
No, I would replace all
Oh, they're
of them.
30 years
All
old.
of them.
All the awnings, just so everybody knows, are 30 years old. So that's good.
Of deciding on what color. Can I make a suggestion?
Same color we got?
Well, I was just thinking, why don't we just go with a solid color so we don't look like onions? Just do a
Okay.
solid green.
Let's do solid green. Anybody?
Sky blue, pink.
Well, same
He says green, I say green.
I
The
don't
same
care.
green that's in them, but just solid. Because if you looked at the ones next door, I just don't want to look like his next door.
Okay,
We talk about being in tough shape.
okay.
Okay, and if we can get the same thing, we'll be able to use our hardware in case anything happens to the hardware.
Okay,
I think it's gonna be, I say okay. We all say okay,
Yes,
but I think we
yes,
really
yes.
need to wait for the other one to weigh in.
And have it such that we don't have
man, I was doing
the
my call.
pieces that flap down.
I see how
Just
I rate
have them be taut so that there's no wind that can flap anything, if
Right.
it's possible.
Yeah, it is possible, you can have a rigid edge to it. It's much easier to put up, and there's no,
Especially on this side.
There's no
That
resistance,
gets the
right.
wind. And then the other thing you can do, I'll get a price, because I did the last time, on the doorway, you can have one up there, and they can put a piece of sheet metal in it, so that it can catch the
Drippings.
drippings, and
I have the laws on the back of it.
so you don't get a clump.
I think that's a pretty funny thing sometimes.
I've had it dump on me.
I've had it go on me too.
This is even with the
This is something.
things, but at least you can see it coming when you're walking up, because the heat tapes,
On that property.
Oh, we haven't put a caution up for that yet?
there's
With all our
caution
other
signs
cautions?
there.
Somebody,
right,
well,
we'll
there's a caution out there, be careful.
Yeah, we alert people that we have a liability and we know it.
Ronnie, are
Thunder.
those signs included in the quotes that you?
They weren't, I can order those.
I think that we need to also talk about the water up on Business Park Drive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Report?
Yeah, I think that's a no-brainer.
I know where you
Should do that.
Well,
I
if
didn't
it's
know that
everyone
was
read
an
the...
option when.
Where's the money coming from? That's my only
Stuff-
question.
Oh, from our town hall.
Town hall maintenance.
Yeah, on the
no
61
other
Business
line
Park
that
Drive, they're putting the water in. I didn't know it was an option to be stubbed.
I'm all for it,
Did they
because we'll
mention
save
that at all
ourselves
when
$5,000.
No, they didn't, but
we were up there at their
Approximately.
meeting, that was a possibility?
they did not.
Did not, yeah, I didn't, yeah, because when I spoke with Casey, he never mentioned it to me either.
What?
Of us being able to stub off. Because out of the blue, Casey called him this morning and said, do you want to,
Yeah, we're able to
Yeah,
stub
good.
off now, so...
And that was a very nice thing.
And we're able to stub off at a $3,000 price rather than later an $8,000 or better, and with the possibility, if you did it later, because it's a thicker PVC, that there could be a possibility of damaging the pipe that they have in there, which would ultimately end up being more of an expense. So, I'm for it.
Which side of the road are they coming up? So if they step into the,
Right inside.
South side.
our side?
Our side, yeah.
Okay, so we won't have to trench under the road, the stub will be on the outside of the road, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, as long as that's the case, I'm for it, I think it's great.
so do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we do the stub for $3,000
On Business Park Drive.
on
What's
Business
the
Park
number over
Drive,
there?
yeah.
Doesn't have a number because there's no building on it.
Town
Number
property.
5,
Lot 5?
Lot 5.
Lot
Okay,
five.
second.
All right, a motion has been made and seconded to bring a water, to stub the water for the town-owned parcel for $3,000. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All in favor? Okay.
And shall we go revisit the awnings?
So, one of the suggestions that Joyce is going to go downstairs and reassess what is good and what is not good, but in the interim, look up the quotes and see what's a real quote and what's not, in the event that we need to replace the awnings, because they are 30 years old, is
They're not 30 years old.
80s, late 80s.
Those
Jim
awnings are-
Twombly was here
those
when the,
those are 30 years old? That's amazing.
So,
Okay,
in the
well-
event that we do that, Joyce is asking, can we go with the solid green, the same color, but the solid green so we don't look like onions,
What color is onion?
striped like
they're
ours?
identical to ours, same color.
Why don't we want to look like onion? Don't think we're...
Because they'll come in here for a beer. Come on. And we don't have any. And we'll get-
Well, that's sad. That's very sad. It's very sad.
Stately.
Green is a welcome color. That's why most hotels use
It
it.
doesn't look like stripes like a carnival.
Well, what about fuchsia?
So, green it is.
So,
Pink.
so a solid, right?
I don't
yeah.
care.
Okay,
I have
so
no-
yes.
It won't show mold as much.
Right, and
I
I
have
bet,
no color
in my
preference.
guess, it's going to be cheaper. Okay, good.
Polka dots.
All right, awnings.
Okay,
Done.
did anybody remember to go to the auction today? I did not.
I remembered, but I was in a meeting.
What auction?
Yeah, I
Didn't
had,
think of it.
What day?
A friend that's in lifetime jail.
No,
I have a JOB.
no. I was real busy at my
I'll call the attorney
JOB,
tomorrow and find out
Find out.
what happened.
and it still continues.
Yesterday morning, Chief and I had a meeting with Property Liability Trust and Jack Murphy, and he had to cancel that meeting. So we haven't rescheduled yet. The workshop, the CDFA, CDBG workshop I went to was very, very good, because I had not been to one in a number of years, and they're really tightening up their regulations. They have a new director there taking over for George. She's from Chicago. It's like they had to bring in the big guns from Chicago. And just because there's a gazillion rules and regulations, and they're enforcing some that they haven't been enforcing, and then there's some new ones. For example, you have to go through that whole section 106, I think it is, it's the Cultural and Historic Resources Review. So they wanted to make sure that we knew that if we were applying for a project, that we budgeted enough money for that. It has a
Just
tendency
FYI.
to delay projects. I also learned that the reason our project is delayed with the Twin, why you haven't seen any designs yet, is because they require on everything, no matter what it is, even if your CDBG is just a small piece of a project similar to ours, that they have to do a level 1 site review. So that's what they've been doing, and then you have to wait for DES to review that. So I made...
Review the review.
Review the review. So with the new director there, I said, with these housing projects, it's because there's usually a problem. I said, what are we supposed to do? We have to pump septic field systems. Why is it taking so long? And she said that they're trying to do everything they can to
Expedite us.
expedite those things.
Well, that would be
So
nice.
they can't...
So another
they can't even
1,
come
2
to
years
you with
max,
the
right?
design until after they get through the level 1.
Is there a time frame for this? Years, months, days, weeks?
And wait forever. Also...
Forever, oh my
Davis-
goodness.
With Davis and
It's a
Bacon
federal
wages, the federal Department of, U.S. Department of Labor, they only list certain jobs and the wage rates. So if you are putting a contract out to bid, you have to use Davis-Bacon wages, and that isn't on their chart. You have to submit a request to them to give you a rate for whatever this position is. You have roofers and things like that, and that can take a long time to get back, and you can't do
They
it.
would have all the trades needed for excavation. All your federal highway projects are Davis-Bacon. I don't know why they
Well, a lot of these are like rehabbing community centers and church, there was a church there, project for a community center.
But the
EV
rehab would be like a
projects.
carpenter, they'd have a carpenter rate.
Yep.
Might not have a steeplejack on there.
The other thing is, but it was good because it helps you get to thinking on how you can use the CDBG grants, so.
Well, thank you for going to that,
Red
Joyce.
tape.
I still haven't written up the policy on use of town vehicles for the whole town, but I did contact the department that is affected. That's done. And then in your packets is some information for your non-public. So is that next on the agenda after me?
But I have a couple questions, though.
Okay, and I have two other things.
Oh, go ahead, you go ahead.
Okay, the hawkers and peddlers, I did some research and I sent it to the board. So did you, of course, I don't have my copies here with me, but did you make some recommendations that we have him, I didn't realize that he had filled out a separate form as an itinerant vendor, where he's really a hawker and peddler, and we should keep use the original form that we were using where it's all in one form, because everything that we're requesting is all in that form, and have him do a background check. And if you want to put any particular stipulations on the license on, that he has to notify us, or the police when he's in town, where he's going, make suggestions on his script, and that we will keep track of complaints, and that if we get too many complaints, then we would be justified in saying,
Is this the magazine guy?
no, this is the energy.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
A group of us, I know we were all there when we attended, Dan Crean had a workshop for attorneys on hawkers and peddlers. And so I found that and I reread it, and what I came away with is that, and also the state, there had been a bill in the legislature to not have the state issue the itinerant vendor and the hawker and peddler's license. And I found out that had failed. So the current law is in effect. So, and also, like, the license he got from the state is a hawker and peddler, not an itinerant, because an itinerant is more money. And then when I contacted Municipal Association Legal Inquiries, they clarified for me and Gail what's hawker and peddler and what's itinerant vendor.
I saw
So he
that.
would be a hawker.
And
Is there
state's
any
putting the other
reason-
moves, right?
Yep.
Is there any reason, Joyce, that I have to sign that paper if I don't want to?
Well, the way Dan had said it was, we can only do what we're allowed to do, and the state has allowed us to regulate. Regulate does not mean prohibit.
So we have to sign it.
We can,
Can we set hours?
Yeah. you
we can
say-
set hours, and we can
Yeah.
also set what his speech is or what he delivers, like go grab your utility bill, that's not appropriate. We can change that.
And if we get any complaints that, he's harassing people or people are really upset by it, that would be a reason. And
She gave it
also, we can up his insurance. I didn't really look at his application or his insurance, but put us down as an additional insured if he does something, so we're protected. And also have something on whatever he's, on his license, we could put that the town of Tilton does not endorse for any of these things. And if anyone has concern or complaint, to call us and let us know. So we're not
And that would be-
prohibiting from doing business, we're just regulating how he does business, because we're
No.
concerned about the public safety of our citizens.
Is that across the board for all hawkers and peddlers?
should, yes.
Including Girl Scouts selling Girl Scout cookies?
No, they're not,
No,
they're
they're exempt.
nonprofit.
They're non-
They're exempt.
Okay. I like it.
The only thing that we really need to be careful about is we can't regulate people that go door to door for free speech if they're nonprofit, right?
So the church folks, I can't say I don't want to see you?
No, you can say, I don't want to see,
Okay.
we
Oh, we
can't
can't?
say you need a hawkers and peddlers to go
Okay.
And I don't think
exercise your free speech.
which includes politicians. So, if we're going to have, did I hear we're going to have this person background checked?
Yes.
We can regulate that.
Yes, but are we discriminating here, or are we going to have all of those
I think any,
in motion?
yes, all of them.
Not the ones that stay put, that you choose to stop at, but the ones that go from place to place.
Yep.
I believe should automatically have that
just shut it
background check.
Okay. I'm sorry. I should have checked that before I came up. What did-
Also,
yeah.
those that go from place to place
Yep.
should have a background check. I don't want to
And
be discriminatory about it.
Yeah.
Bob Brown was right.
it's very important, too, that they, when they arrive in town, that they contact the police department, where they'll be,
Town, what section of town they're gonna be doing.
and that's public safety.
Yep.
I think that's a
And
change that
when they leave.
that we should make with all of them. I really do. Just for the safety of our residents, I think it's important.
So we'll do that tomorrow. We'll get in touch with them tomorrow and, okay. The other thing on the, I was so organized before. Do you want to do the contracts, Casellas, now? Or do you want to get to your other? All right, now, don't read this yet. This is just for you to review later, okay? Because if you're reading it while I'm talking, you're not gonna listen to me talk. What I did, because it
That
was...
didn't work.
No, it goes right in.
I'm
He
reading the
just got the
heading, but
curiosity up.
Well, I think it was important, because I was trying to figure out where all these definitions came from. Because no matter what, we should be consistent. We should be consistent with our ordinances. We should be consistent with what's in the contract. And there've been changes that have been made in between these contracts. Like, we no longer have pay as you throw. We've got rid of the trash and, well, I shouldn't say we got rid of the trash and littering ordinance. We separated the trash and littering ordinance into a littering ordinance and a trash ordinance. So I think that in this most recent, my ultimate recommendation is, and I'll just go through this briefly, is that we should be very clear about in the ordinance, the trash ordinance, because all we have to do is reference that trash ordinance in this contract. That's what they have to go by. That way, if that ordinance changes, then this just automatically changes. And you don't have to keep going back and forth into each thing, making sure each is correct. Now, so I was trying to figure, okay, well, so I went back to the original trash ordinance, which is the 2001 town meeting, back when it was the littering and trash ordinance, and I got the minutes from the meeting, and the language, they defined commercial in that littering and trash ordinance, which is in your package, but they didn't define residential. All this really did was place a limit whether you were going to be allowed to put out 5 bags as it per unit or per parcel. That's the distinction. It's not really residential or commercial. It's like who can do it per unit and who can do it per parcel. That last sentence in the commercial definition, which is the only definition they put in there, was added from the floor of town meeting, which said excluding individually owned and taxed manufactured housing. That's why it's never a good idea to have people amend ordinances from the floor of a town meeting. Because it's like, well, what does that mean? And I read the minutes, and it didn't explain it in the meeting minutes. I'm assuming what they were getting to is, and I have copies of those minutes if you want to see it, is they want to make sure that whether a resident in town is living in a manufactured home on their own lot, or if they're living in their own owned manufactured home in a park.
Now, there's different kinds of parks.
Right, but see, by saying excluding individually owned and taxed manufactured housing, to me that means they're talking about somebody that not only do they own their home, but they're also own the
Taxed.
land.
They're being taxed.
Yes, they're being taxed. They're paying taxes on their land and they're paying taxes on their, so we're all in agreement with that?
Yep.
I don't know if it means land and build, it just says taxed manufactured housing, that's the unit.
You'd have to go to read the minutes.
not the land,
Okay,
which would include
What
all
did you come
parks.
away with when you read the minutes?
Can't read
that you
conversation.
don't want to create a
Intent where
manufactured,
it's
in
not
my
listed.
mind, what I came away with,
Says tax manufactured
lawyer.
housing.
Hold on.
you don't want to treat a manufactured house on a lot that's paying taxes on their house and their lot differently from a manufactured house that's paying taxes on their manufactured house and their lot. Just so happens that one manufactured house is in a park that they own the park, they own the lot, they own the land, and
Right.
interest in the land that they're on, is my interpretation.
Well, the other is a business that's renting space,
But
just like an apartment building.
But the manufactured housing resident is paying taxes on their,
In their rent, not in their,
no,
not to the town of Tilton.
so the town doesn't tax
They
the,
tax
the units?
They do. Yeah, they
That's
do.
what-
Yeah, we do.
And then the park gets one for the land portion. But the individual owner, if you say,
In a co-op, we tax the home.
In a co-op, you tax, in a co-op,
We tax the
the
home, not the land.
residents who live in it
pays,
pay tax on everything.
Yeah.
correct?
Yes,
The land and the units,
Yeah.
because they own the land,
that those co-op
The shareholder.
get tax
the
bills.
shareholders.
The co-op gets a bill, but then the residents get a separate bill for their manufactured home. There's two different bills going.
Okay, so
So their
then,
lot rent pays
Correct.
the taxes on the property.
Correct, but in any case, any manufactured home in Tilton pays taxes to the town of Tilton, based on the value of the manufactured home.
And isn't that what that says?
Yes.
But that's what got written into the ordinance, but until you,
Now, the ordinance had changed, because we had a commercial part that anything over 10 homes on one piece of land that wasn't owned by the homeowner didn't get picked up. But we did away with that last week. We
because
took
we
out the
didn't,
number.
because we didn't know why it was there. That was the ultimate
and
question,
I think
why
Joyce
it
is
there?
coming back with
And now
that.
Joyce is telling us why it was there,
Okay.
so we should put it back in.
Okay, so this was the motion by, yeah, and I didn't know that until I went back to the original ordinance. Motion by R. Manso, second by H. Feener. Discussion was open. P. Clark asked the selectmen to explain why the town needs to implement this ordinance. R. Manso explained that there has been a major problem with trash being left out for weeks at a time. He also stated that a survey on the type of service, curbside or paper bag, was taken at the general election, and the results of the survey was that the citizens of Tilton would prefer to keep curbside pickup. A motion to amend was made by K. Washburn, second by G. Hast, to add to the end of the fourth paragraph, so you know where this is coming from,
Gee, I wonder.
to read, excluding individually owned and taxed manufactured housing. The question was called, vote on the amendment passed with unanimous vote. Question was called on the article as amended by T. Gallant, seconded by G. Hast. Vote on Article 9 as amended, 48 yes, 19 no. Article as amended passed. The moderator read the article as amended. Did Tom make the first motion? I don't know, that's confusing. No, because Rick Manso and Heber Feeder, maybe that was just a typo. Okay, so anyway, so that's that. So then I went back and looked at the town of Tilton and Northfield had a joint agreement with Bestway in 2005. So I looked at the 2005 to the 2008 joint agreement. And it was broken out, like, both towns had to sign it, and Bestway signed it, which was Archie H. Hilaire, St. Hilaire. And the town of Northfield and the town of Tilton had their own definitions for what was commercial and what was commercial. Residential was defined the same for both, means all single-family dwellings and multifamily dwellings consisting of 4 units or less per parcel and individually owned multi-unit family structures of less than 15 units located on the same parcel. Now, I bring this to your attention because this 2008, one other thing, and also under Tilton, not Northfield, it says, "The town of Tilton shall not bear the cost for pickup or transportation of any commercial acceptable solid waste generated by the town of Tilton, nor shall the town of Tilton be liable for tipping fees associated with the collection of commercial acceptable solid waste." This language in that 2008 to 2000, oh God,
5 to 8.
5 to 8, 8 to 11 was the same. 11 to 12 as extended was the same. 12 to 2016 was the same. No changes were made to that. So in the contract, at least going back to 2005, the contract never was bound to these definitions.
So what are you suggesting?
That, well, let me get to the issues. The issues are the deadline is fast approaching to enter into the curbside recycling and solid waste agreements. Pay-as-you-throw has been repealed since the original RFP was issued and negotiations began with Casella, who was the sole bidder. The original Town of Tilton littering and trash ordinance, adopted in 2001, limits each residential unit to 5 bags or containers and limits each commercial property to 5 bags. And then commercial has a definition which includes multifamily dwelling units of more than 10 units on the same parcel, which again, I don't know where that came from, because it's not in here. It's not in the contracts. And then the individually owned and taxed manufactured housing is excluded from the commercial definition. I went back and saw that, so how are we going to deal with that? So in my mind, this means that multifamily dwelling units of 11 or more units are limited to 5 bags per parcel. And if you live in a multifamily building of 10 or less units, you'd be considered residential. Therefore, you'd be limited to 5 bags per unit, because you're not commercial per parcel. It says per unit. However, if you live in a resident-owned and taxed manufactured housing, either you own your own lot or in the co-op, in a co-op, you're excluded from the commercial limit per parcel and would be allowed 5 bags per unit, according to the old.
So how do we get
That
back
was
to
in-
that?
That we work on our, what you want for an ordinance, and then in our contract, we put per the Tilton ordinance. Because I've got too many definitions that say too many different things from different sources.
True.
So you don't have a suggestion for a definition?
The ordinance.
Yeah, refer to the ordinance, give a date, and as amended.
Yeah, because the ordinance that
But we
you-
need to pick a date, ordinance and a date. So do you have
That's
a
good.
recommendation?
Well, the one that we did last week,
Yeah.
yes, because the trash ordinance that was first adopted back in February had the definition, commercial property. There was no limit on per unit, per parcel, and that's when Catherine kept saying, oh, we have to amend our ordinance, which we did, but then we said, this is just too confusing. We should probably rescind that one that we did last week. So the 10, that's the 10 units show up in this.
So you're suggesting we not let any commercial properties put out trash?
No, because
5
they've been
bags per
picking them up.
parcel.
5 bags per parcel.
Okay.
So someone like the veterinarian or
Any of the
Main Street.
downtown businesses, basically.
Be putting out, they're
Yeah,
limited to 5 bags.
businesses all up and down Route 3 and 11 that will put out 5 bags or
So,
less.
so when this new trash ordinance took effect, that replaced this, and that's why we wanted to put in the limits, put the limits back in here, correct?
Right, when we did away with recycling,
Right,
we said we would put the
limits back in.
commercial language back in.
right. So I think that's what we should do.
Okay, so let's amend this. How do you want to treat manufactured housing parks?
The same as we did before.
Which means
Tax.
they have to own
Own the land and own,
land and the housing.
right.
I disagree.
Put
I'm all
trash
about
out?
the land and house.
Why? Give me a scenario where it wouldn't fit.
Well, White Rock,
White Rock's the co-op, so it fits.
So
Yeah.
it fits, yeah.
Jensen's doesn't.
Jensen's doesn't fit,
Right.
but they've never had.
That-
Never
Well,
been picked up
They're a
because,
for-profit
they were-
organization, so they're leasing out space for profit.
Right.
and they were more than
So is their
10 units.
park rents higher than the co-ops?
Don't know, don't care.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't care.
That's got nothing to do with nothing.
Sounds
They
really
are.
good.
They,
And part of
That
that may be
includes-
because they have to do their own
that
solid waste, so
includes, right, solid waste. And it has been for years that way. We've never picked up there.
did we pick up at Quinn's before it was a co-op?
It's always been a co-op since I've
No.
been.
Gaslight
I mean,
Village?
since I've
It
been
was a
selectman.
private, yeah, it was a private, but
I
they,
don't think they did. Well, wait, let me back up. That was probably when we had our own truck.
So,
So when
who
was,
knows? You'd have
oh, and that's when
did
the,
it become a co-op?
You'd have to ask Dave Wadley. It's been a co-op for quite a while.
has it been that long?
It's been a while.
Quinn's has?
It was when I
Princess.
moved in 99. Best of my knowledge.
Quinn's has been a co-op for a while.
I didn't think it was that recent.
all right, so I think the easiest thing to do is if we could just rescind,
So make a motion to rescind
It's like
the
a,
trash ordinance that we,
the amendment that
the
you did. on
amendment that we
the-
did last, May 5th,
Yeah.
2016.
still second.
All those in favor?
yes.
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 I think.
Now, we're going to keep,
Don't have it in front of me, so.
It took out the 10 parcel.
right, so what we're going to include is we're going to put back in the definition for commercial property that was in the,
Original.
well, this one doesn't, yes, this one defines commercial. And we're going to put in keep the limit to 5 bags per unit. And then commercial is 5 bags per parcel.
That's correct.
And where the amendment was trying to segregate manufactured housing, to make that clear, that not only is it a manufactured house, because you have to treat it like a home on its own lot, that it's a manufactured house that's in a co-op.
So if it's not in a co-op, but it's less than 10 units, like your residence definition.
does-
No,
What
we're
is
completely-
country-
We're excluding it from the definition of commercial.
What is Country Meadows?
It's not a
That's-
co-op.
That's
Commercial.
private, commercial.
Private commercial, okay. All right,
The Lord Hampshire is private commercial. They rent motel rooms, they have a...
How many units?
Business that rents people's cottages.
It's more than 10.
Okay, but if you have a setup that's less than 10, where do they fall?
Like the place across the street there. Old
Yeah, but
condo.
we're completely excluding manufactured housing.
Which now you're discriminating. If I do stick-built of 10 or less, I'm okay, but if I do manufactured of 10 or less, I'm not?
10 or less, you're okay.
That was my question, if it's 10 or less, are we okay? Because Joyce was saying we're excluding all non-co-op or non-owned,
Well,
If you own the land under your building,
but if you don't, if you're renting, but the park is less than 10, but it's less than 10.
well, in our
You can have a
definition-
small area. I mean, if someone were to redevelop an area and put in, let's say, 6 manufactured homes, then that would be, we would be excluding them because they're manufactured homes. Well, that wouldn't really be fair to them because it's not, I mean, even though they're paying, it's in that kind of a language that you're presenting to us, we would, in the future, if that happened, we would be excluding them, correct?
We need to continue to do what we've been doing all these years, to be fair. That's, whatever we need to
Right.
write into that, that's what we need to
So
do.
we need to include the
If you have a-
manufacturing homes that are not in a co-op, but it's
Less than,
less than the 10. Oh, I see. Right. See what he wrote. Right,
You got it?
There's only
Got
like
it.
4 units in that park.
Five,
Less than the 10.
so
But-
that's,
so- but-
right,
She
okay.
puts out bags. She would put out bags unless she wanted to have a dumpster for overlation.
So
If she
we,
wanted one, she could get
in the
one.
past, they've
could have
always been
curbside.
included in that
That's right.
part. So
She does,
we
as
need
far as I
to
know.
write that, you can handle
That's
that,
why if you
right?
changed it.
So that's going to be in the ordinance. So that's not going to hold up this.
No, it's not going to hold up that.
So this, I'm just going to
We
go
can
back
say
to what we
refer to the
originally- Yeah, in
ordinance,
accordance with the town of Tilton.
Tilton
trash ordinance.
trash ordinance,
Okay.
and then we'll amend it
That's
next
number
week.
910? This one?
Yes,
Okay.
but the
As
contract,
amended, but yeah.
yeah.
And we'll amend it
Now,
next week.
And the other, since the last meeting,
Like that.
the old Charlemont Road is a driveway. It's a person's driveway. So
It's
that's
a
private-
duplex.
It's a duplex?
It's 2 properties, 2 structures.
Yeah. There's 2 people in there.
That's why it's
Okay, All
named.
right, can they get in? I mean, do you
They
think?
both, they share that drive.
Okay. Is it such that a garbage truck can get in there?
Well, no, it's 2 separate, it's serving 2.
probably
Yes,
have
sir.
to check, because I think that when we were discussing it, we checked to make sure the fire department had the proper turnarounds, but you might have to double check on the
That was done
plans.
by the planning board.
So I just have to add that to our roads, list of roads, private roads. The other is, yes, the town did accept
road.
Carroll Drive,
Okay.
and it was sometime in either 2006 or 2007. So that is a public
What about the
driveway.
one off of Caleb Hill Road? It's a private,
Mountain View?
no. Further down where Scott Byers lives. Across from Tom Daniels,
You're talking about the pest house roads?
no,
The range roads?
no,
Range Road, they bring it out.
where
To the edge of the
Christine and the planning board lives.
Isn't that Range Road?
I thought that was on Mountain.
It's a private road, it goes in,
Yep.
and with a turnaround, comes out, but it's a private road, they don't pick up there, they pick up on Caleb Hill, right? They have to bring it out. It's a private road,
It's a
though,
driveway, right?
Driveway with a name on it.
but it services,
remember, it was
but
quite a
it's
conversation.
like old Shalimar Road, it services to a couple of people, though, right? It services Scott Byers, and it services, I forget a lot, Dembrinsky.
Dombrowski.
Oh, okay.
Dombrowski, right. So it's 2 houses that it services on with a cul-de-sac at the end there. So would that be the same situation?
We'll put them on the list and we'll see if the truck can get in. They
I'm
maintain
sure,
it.
I'm sure they can, because it goes in and around. It's a cul-de-sac.
The other,
You
thing-
should ask them if they want the truck in there.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
they
would be
may
good.
want it out.
According to the contract, they have to sign a release anyway, a liability
Yeah,
of
so
waiver.
you should
waiver of
ask them.
no, we
liability
took
or
that out.
How do you do it if you don't own the road?
something.
No,
I
no, we
don't
took
even
that
go there
out. We
again.
took that out
We
because
beat
that was an
to
issue.
death.
Well, you've got
I
those.
know, We took it out
Yeah.
because of that.
Yeah, if the truck can't get in, or the truck gets damaged, or could get damaged, they let us know, and then you decide, and the language is that such request will not unreasonably be withheld. So if it's reasonable, then we could withhold it. The other correction we found, and it was you guys that found it, was on the solid waste agreement. We hadn't changed, it was still saying bi-weekly. So those are the only changes. So I'm good to go with taking that out and just say refer to the ordinance, town ordinance, and then we'll get the
Okay.
ordinance. Okay.
Have we heard anything on the roof from the senior center?
His check just went in the mail Monday. He was waiting to go, Monday or Tuesday of this week, he was going to go buy the material. And as soon as he had the material, then he was going to start.
That window isn't done as of yesterday.
I don't know anything about a window.
He said that was the weekend,
Okay.
and it rained, so he couldn't do it over the weekend.
It's gonna rain this week, too.
It is.
On the weekend, oh yeah.
You can't do it when it rains. All right. And that's the last thing, the window and the roof.
And he's doing that as well, the window?
No.
No, it's Chris's,
Homework, is it?
home lock construction.
Oh, okay,
And that's the last thing on his list.
okay.
All right, and nothing from the cellular company from, okay. Got it. All right.
Do you want me to file?
Should be hearing something, I mean, either that or from them themselves, you know, right? Is there any business to come before us in a public meeting? Anybody
have
got
it.
anything?
I have something.
Okay. All right, Joe, go ahead.
Ladies first.
I have a list.
Joe, go ahead.
One thing.
Then go, Joe.
Go, Joe.
Okay. As you all know, we're members of the Underground Storage Tank Committee.
Gang.
Gang, short. Well, the 3-year inspection is coming due, so we had a pre-inspection servicing yesterday. And the guy, I believe it's Gaff Tech, came up and he looked, and they didn't call me, but they called Andy in Northfield and Wayne Crowley, and they went down. Apparently, the pumps are leaking into the sump, and the conduits for the electronics that go from the interstitial to the Northfield Town Garage are rotting, cracked, broken, and subject to intrusion. We're out of compliance, and in the between, so there's that, and all of that work is going to cost us like $10,000, $11,000. When you did, and I always knew it would come to this. You make certain improvements and different rules kick in. And this is an underground storage tank and they don't grandfather you in. So, over the next 3 years, we're looking at approximately $100,000
Fill it with sand.
to upgrade the facility. We don't have $100,000. We've got like 14, I think. We even raised the surcharge in order to start banking some more money. We've got Whitney over at the town of Northfield who's researching a fund that provides grants from the Department of Environmental Services to clean up that very thing, close down tanks. It costs about $25,000 to close it. But over the next 3 years, it's gonna cost us $100,000 to keep it open. I don't know, quite frankly, is if it's anywhere near our best interest to do that. We've already been talking about what comes next. Well, maybe we should think real hard on it. The report that Whitney's putting together, this only happened yesterday. We're still a month away from the inspection. We've talked with Cheryl at the school district. We haven't signed any contracts yet, but they're looking to charge like $1.80 for gas. So, we gotta find out how long we can go. How long can we take to transition? Do we sign another contract for 1 year and then plan to close it next June or whatever? Give people a chance to make their own deals. Do we continue together to buy at either the state, which is $1 a gallon more than the pumps right now, because they got a 3-year contract, not a 1, and they're locked in at a certain price, and they got 2 more years on that. There's a lot of questions that are coming up. I think the main thing is $100,000 or better to bring us into compliance over 3 years. The school district is going to have to pay the bulk of it, because they take the bulk of the fuel. As soon as I get the report from Whitney, I will be getting it back to everybody. I'll send it electronically, and then the very first meeting we have, we should probably talk about, well, what does Tilton want to do here? We have a vote, actually, we have the chairmanship of the committee right now, but we have a vote, and I've talked with one voting member, 2 voting members, and both of them are like, well, we got to find something else to do. You know, that's a lot of money. We don't have that kind of money. So think about it, and I'll get back to you with the information as I get it.
If we don't pay the lion's share of the 100,000,
Oh, we wouldn't.
what, we need to find out what our share would be, because if it's $25,000 to close it down, and it's $25,000 to bring it up to code, how many more years could we get out of it if it's brought up to code?
We have year 17 on a 30-year tank. The pumps didn't have a canopy over them. They're rusting away even as we speak. If you have any doubts about...
Is that part of the 100,000?
Yeah. It's got to have a new pad. The new rules say that your pad has to go, like, if you have a 5-foot hose, it's got to go 5 feet around the machine. But has anybody looked at seeing how long the hoses are over there because of the fire trucks and the buses and whatever? That means that we have to kick that thing out with a grooved pad, a level grooved pad, like an extra 10 feet on both sides. There's just no.
Get out of it. Look to Irving Fleet.
We could do a fleet thing, you know, but there's things that I'm finding out about that. We can't get a contract price like we do from the bulk fuel. They charge us pump price minus whatever we're eligible to not pay in taxes, because we don't have to pay certain taxes on fuel because we're a municipality. Exactly what that is, I don't know, but that's part of the information, to the best of my knowledge, that Whitney's going to be putting together a couple of alternatives. Well, if we're not doing that, what do we do?
Well, the other possibility is Tilton goes to ground alone and puts in an above-ground tank.
That's an option. I mean, we might all decide,
Works.
we may well decide that we want out, once the tank is done, our obligation to the tank committee is done.
And how big a tank are you looking to put in? 10,000?
I don't know, you still have to have a vault around it.
I understand, but if you don't have like if you're not taking a tanker load, I don't think you get much of a price break on the
They come
fuel.
and fill it up. We've got, I want to say 8,000, 4,000 in there now, John?
Once we have information.
Yep, once we get more information, we
I'm
can
gonna say
think
it's
about it.
8,000,
We can also,
4,000 right now.
we can also have the chief,
It's a split tank.
chief research our
I got a couple
options
ideas
at
I'll talk to you later. So-
Irvin's.
Okay.
You might be
We
able
can, once I get information, we can start to explore what we are going to do and how long will that tank be open at this point? What kind of infrastructure things do we do in the short term to come into immediate compliance? And then we've got money. We've been paying in surcharge all this time, so we have some money. And we'll see. I'll get you the numbers as soon as I get them. That's my thing.
Okay. Catherine, one by one.
On, get moving.
The resident called me, lives at the corner of Andrews and Manville Road. Oh, I have a message for you.
Okay.
About the drainage that was installed. There were some things he wanted to point out to me, and I went over, and there is some erosion still going on, in a couple of places. But my suggestion is that you all stop by and look at it. I'll send you pictures, and we can talk about it next week.
Are we talking number 2? Andrews?
I don't know his address.
Well, we did the drainage
Well,
work.
we did the drainage already.
Well, when you said,
It's Joe.
okay, I'm just confirming, because you had issues across the street.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So I'm on a...
But that hasn't
no, I
been
know.
done.
Different.
This was put in
See, some
just
of
to
that
try to
sand went
expedite it and get it
until
in
it mows
before
home.
winter. Because there was much more erosion going on, but there's still some, so everybody look at it. Johnny's well aware of it, I'm sure he's looked at it by now.
I was
He talked to
talking
me
with
other
the
day,
gentleman yesterday, as a matter of
so
fact.
look at it, and we'll have a conversation next week. The resident on Andrews Road who shoveled all his sand into the traveled way. Now, we had a similar thing that took place on Hill Road a number of years ago, and we cited that person. We sent him a letter letting him know that that was an illegal act. We need to do that to this resident as well. He created a very dangerous situation.
Didn't the guy on the other street make a berm from one side of the road to the other?
That's right.
The gentleman on Andrews Road did not do
Talked
that.
about that. I asked
Yeah,
piled
this-
it on the
that
edge of the
sand
road.
was piled in the traveled way. If a motorcycle had come along and made that corner and stayed in his lane, he could have hit that sand.
As a motorcycler who went down that way, if you're doing more than 3 miles an hour, you're wrong before they sweep those roads.
Okay.
Because you'd be
You know
on
what?
your head.
The law says you do not put your sand, pile your sand in the traveled way. Is it any more?
Is it at the curb or is it
Complicated.
in the
I
travel
was
lane?
told, because I asked Johnny,
I
and I said,
physically
is
saw
it in
it.
the road, or, so you saw it, okay.
I saw it.
It would be where your right
But one at a
tires are
time.
gonna hit.
It was in the traveled way.
Okay.
Technically,
Like, I
no.
think I have
We'll send her a
pictures
letter
of
and
it.
say, don't do that again.
That's right, that's all we need to do is let them know that it's a safety issue. I've been getting estimates, I sent out to have all the wood on the outside of Town Hall painted. I sent out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 17 to 17 different companies. I did not get a very good return. I got 1 out of those 17. So then I called another 1, 2, 3, 4. I had one that nibbled at it, came and looked and said no. The problem is we don't have a lot of wood. It's trim. So they've got to scrape it. It's a lot of work. So I only have 1 estimate.
Summer help.
I don't know what you want me to do. I mean, I can go further. I've gone as far as Concord,
What's the estimate?
3,850.
Does that include getting one of those scissor lifts?
I don't know how he's gonna do it, but he knows what he's gotta do.
I think when Brian did it, he had to rent a lift, because I remember he had to get permission from the electric company, and they had to come put things over it, and that would have been in 2000,
This fellow is from Guilford.
2009. No,
He's got
Could be earlier than
exterior,
then.
yeah, 2007.
he's got exterior painting of Town Hall, trim, molding doors, railing, and all non-brick exteriors.
Not doors,
They look nice and
Trim
green.
around,
trim around the doors.
outside here, we have 2 doors
Okay.
out here. So,
I could envision those nice
all
mahogany doors
non-brick
Paint 'em black.
exterior, so that includes the metal, that's, so
better than pink, I suppose.
he gave us $38.50.
I say we go ahead and do it.
I mean,
We've
if
gone
anybody knows
above
any
and
exterior
beyond.
painters, I can contact them, but this is,
I think we've gone above and beyond. I mean, 21 people.
yeah. Well, the only problem is you sent this the 30th. It was good for 30 days, but if we...
How are we doing with our budget on maintenance?
Well, here,
We
I don't need this anymore,
Spent
so-
$3,000 on a stub, get a bunch of other
Oh,
little
you know what?
things.
Here,
How are we doing?
I give you the whole
How much
packet.
money is left
This is
in
the
the
town hall, 20,000.
Still have 20,000 in it. What were we talking about, doing rugs downstairs or tile floors or whatever?
All I know is
Unless we buy the paint.
the outside exterior, if you look at it, is beginning to fall apart. The metal hasn't been done in,
A long time.
I'm gonna say 10 years, and it's rusting
Metal,
away.
what
All the there's no seal anymore, that's
on
gone.
what,
By the stairs in the front, by the windows, under the windows, the metal, it's rusting. It's got to be cleared off. We've got the new,
I mean, if you wanna call him and see if he'll hold the price, you know, we can take that up next week, but,
What was the,
Get some...
We have a-
$38.50.
what?
You want me to ask him for some references or
If you,
anything?
No.
whatever you think is best.
$3,850.
And if he can
I've
provide
never noticed we
insurance.
needed
Yeah.
paint, so I'll have to go out and look.
This was 330. Yep.
So it's just, flipping through. We're going into a non-public, right?
Yep.
So I have an unusual health officer thing that I'll talk to you about in the non-public.
Can't be any more unusual than the last one.
Oh, yeah, this one's bizarre. This is
Unusual
just
compared to
bizarre.
what?
It's
That's what's still left in there.
absolutely bizarre.
It's April.
You like that?
So we've got
Memoirs.
17 grand.
Night.
Thank you, John.
Good night, John.
Good night, John.
Good night.
All right. You're all
Let the guys know I'll pick up those D steaks Saturday.
Sorry?
I'll pick up the D steaks on Saturday.
Okay, I'll let him know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So did we name Christine Dembinski's private road there? There's no name?
I don't know.
Oh, you have to ask Christine.
You have to ask them.
They'd probably love
But
to
it's the
name it.
same kind of the scenario as Old Shalimar. But,
I'm sure she'd love to name it. She's very smart, very nice.
all right, so any more business to come before us? All right.
No.
Make a motion to go into non-public as per say 91A:3. Personnel, hiring, and a, do I say health officer issue? That which discussed in public would adversely affect the reputation.
That covers me.
Second.
Did you want me to...
Roll call vote?
Yes.
Yes.
You want what?
Did you want me to give copies of the sheets, or are you going to talk about it?
Here, red is
That's the
on.
original.
Make a motion to seal the minutes
No.
of the non-public session as they pertain to personnel issues permanently.
Second.
Put it in...
Roll call vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Delay, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I was waiting for the
Did
adjournment.
everyone sign the payroll? We need to, Chief, we need to ask you, if, when our fleet, when you purchase a vehicle, I know when a resident or when a non-business owner, well, business, non-fleet member purchases a vehicle from Auto Service, oil filter, oil and lube for free for life? Do you- Well, a fleet is not. Can you find out what the cost of an oil, lube, and filter would be whatever the required amount of times are?
I'll get that.
Okay.
With Irwin's?
Check both.
It seems, why wouldn't they? A car is a car. I mean,
What?
will change.
Yes, Ryan's.
I know it has to do with mileage, but the mileage is increased on the newer vehicles from the old.
They run specials at the dealerships on oil changes specifically to get you in the door and find other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's,
Oh, yeah, they do. Are you kidding? I don't go to the dealer.
That's why,
no, that's,
I don't go to the
that's
dealer.
why, that's fine, just do the filter, the oil.
I can get out of the
Well, that's why I do
Lowe's
it
cheaper
myself.
than I can go
I do
into
it
the...
myself.
Any more business to come before us in the public meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in
Vote
favor?
with your feet.
If it was, I would have
Yes.
thought of it.
Oh, my word.
Oh, these things dry, Mike.
I'm old.